Welcome back to my channel. This video is all about how you can maintain your online audience's attention. Now, that isn't easy. Our attention spans are like getting smaller and smaller, and if you're an online audience, your attention span is itty bitty tiny because there are so many distractions. And that's the hard thing with presenting online. When you're presenting on stage, your audience are there in front of you. You can gauge their reactions, you can see the whites of their eyes sometimes, and you can also be sure that they're not going to be doing other things like their online shopping or booking a holiday. I say booking a holiday, I actually booked a holiday once when I was supposed to be watching an online presentation. So getting their attention is difficult, but holding their attention is even harder. However, if you follow these steps, I promise that you will maintain your audience's attention when you next do a presentation online. Please do subscribe to my channel. Please do take a look at the links below. Have a look at my Facebook group where I host lives every week on topics like presenting online. And please do give this video a like too. The first thing that you can do to really grab your audience's attention is have a really good opening to your presentation. Now, I've done a video which is all about my top tips on how you can craft that opening of your online presentation, which I will link above now, so take a look at that. But ultimately, you want to give the audience a great experience right from the start. So, as I say in that video, I suggest a soft opening, maybe a nice welcome slide or something, just so your audience can all log in and get comfortable before you start your presentation. Now, if you make your online presentation look like it's well thought out, well structured, with a great opening, your audience will listen. You will grab their attention because most openings are awful. Terrible. Most opening online presentations are terrible. The other thing that you can do to grab your audience's attention is stand up. Just stand up. Imagine how you would feel as an audience member if you were watching an online presentation and the presenter stood up. You'd immediately give them your attention. You'd think, wow, what is this? What's happening? It shows again that it's well thought out and that you're putting on a performance for your audience. Not enough online presenters think about their audience. I promise if you stand up, not only will it get their attention, maintain their attention, but it'll also make you deliver a performance. And that ultimately is what will maintain your online audience. The other thing that you can do to maintain your audience's attention is to really think about your nonverbals. Now, what do I mean by nonverbals? I basically mean body language and facial expression. All too often, when people are presenting online, they lose all of that. They kind of go into this monotone, dull, boring way of presenting. What you need to do is inject some life into your face and into your body language as well. Now, if you're like me and you use your hands a lot when you speak, try and frame your shot so that the audience can see your hands. Standing up will ensure that. And really think about your facial expressions. Inject some energy and passion and enthusiasm into your presentation, and you'll find that your face just lights up, and it really does make a massive difference. It's very easy to ignore and switch off from somebody who is monotone and gives you nothing. But if you inject some passion and enthusiasm into what you're saying, you'll find that your nonverbals, your facial expression lights up. And that is very hard to ignore, and it will maintain your audience's attention. The other thing that you can do is really think about your tone of voice. A little bit like the nonverbals and the facial expression, what can happen when you're doing an online presentation is you go into this monotone way of speaking where there's no variation in what you're saying and it all gets very boring. Ugh. I hear people presenting like that online all the time, and it does my head in. What you need to do is a bit like with the facial expressions, inject some passion and enthusiasm into what you're saying, and you'll find you get a nice variation in tone. Now, if you're not really sure what I'm talking about, just listen to a podcast. Listen to a podcast and you will notice the variation in tone. Now, there's a reason they do that. It makes you want to listen, it grabs, and it retains your attention. So think about variation of tone when you're presenting online. And the easiest way to achieve a variation of tone is, again, just inject some passion and enthusiasm into what you're saying. And if you can't inject passion and enthusiasm, maybe the question is, why are you doing the online presentation if you don't care about the topic? And finally, probably the biggest thing that you can do to maintain your online audience's presentation is to give them something to do. Give them some interaction with you. If you do that, it will make them switch on, it will engage them, they'll be interested, they'll realize that they're not just viewing this, that they've actually got to take part as well. And you can do that in several ways. You could pose a question to them just by putting a question on a slide and giving them a moment to think about it. You could ask them to do a show of hands. You don't want to ask them all to start speaking because that would be a nightmare. But a show of hands can work quite well online. You could also ask them to complete a poll just by sharing your screen, or maybe a word cloud, something that engages them, that gets them to do something, that switches them on and maintains their attention. Because as I said at the start, if you're not going to maintain your audience's attention, what is the point in doing it in the first place? I hope those tips have helped. Please do let me know in the comments below if there are any topics that you want me to focus on. Please subscribe, give this video a like, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, here's a link to some more. Please do subscribe because I'll be uploading videos weekly.